Hi, I'm Kelly, and I'm a recovering listaholic. I am the typical eldest daughter type A perfectionist where I grew up wanting to do all the things, and it all started with making a list. And I love a good list, I love checking things off, but I also have the tendency to put everything on the list, even when it's supposed to be short and sweet. There would be times where someone would say, "What are the three things you need to do this weekend?" And I would make a list, and my brain would start whirling with all the things I wanted to do at my house. And somehow I would be like, reseeding the lawn and re roofing the house instead of just like clean the kitchen. So, I have some tips for you today. If you like to make a good list, if you like to get things out of your head and onto paper, but then there's some disconnect when it comes to doing the thing that you say you need to do. And I think we all have this. I mean, I don't know anybody alive that makes a to do list, checks everything off, finishes their day, and is satisfied. As an adult, things always pop up, whether it's at work or with your family or just socially. And it's really hard to prioritize sometimes when there's a lot of moving targets. And we're not even going to get into the news, which can easily distract us from what we want to get done with what we feel we need to pay attention to. And let's be real, sometimes you need to pay attention to stuff that is not on your to do list. The first thing that I do to make my list a little bit more likely to get done is that I do a daily to do list. And I do this in a journal. I just write the date and then I list the things that need to get done. This helps me because if I just made one list for the week, my priorities shift too much over the course of a week for that to be relevant by Tuesday morning. So, having a new list every day lets me see what I have accomplished and what I maybe started and need to finish, or new things that have cropped up. Again, it's very unlikely that things are just going to be static in your week unless you have a very boring life. And in that case, I envy you. The second thing I do is I go back as I end my week on Friday and I look at the things that did not get done. And I don't do this in a way of like, oh, I'm such an idiot. Why couldn't I get that done? I know that maybe I didn't have the energy for some of these tasks, or, I should have broken it down into smaller steps because, declutter the laundry room should really be like 5 different tasks across the week. And I did like 3 of them, so that should count. And what I do is I take the things that I had not done by Friday and I put them on my weekend list. Now, my weekend list is just a giant post-it note that I put on the side of my fridge. And I sometimes do it with small post-it notes on the big post-it note. And sometimes I just write on it all the things I need to get done that weekend. Now, when it comes to transferring things to another list, you have a decision to make. Do I still care? Does this thing still need to get done? And sometimes, the thing has passed. So if you were hoping to go to a, community meeting on Wednesday night and you didn't go to it, you can't go to that community meeting on a Friday. So in that case, you might just cross it off as it did not get done. But if you wanted to, get the oil changed in your car, you can absolutely do that on a Saturday. So having that Saturday list helps me really prioritize what I want to get done over the weekend. And I try to get that weekend list done early enough on Saturday. The main reason is that if it's something that requires being out of the house or doing a chore, I don't want to wait till Sunday afternoon when everything is closed. If you get out on Saturday morning at 9 a.m., you can get your oil changed, be on with your day. But if you're waiting till Sunday night, they're closed. Now it's on the Monday list. So look at those things that are on the list and decide if they need to be done at all. Sometimes the best way to clear a list is decide you don't care anymore or it's not as important as you thought it was. So when I am kind of sweeping all these undone tasks to my weekend list, my goal is to go in with as few things carrying over to Monday as possible. And it's not always perfect because, of course, there are some bigger projects, or maybe I need to email someone. I'm waiting for them to email me back. But the goal is that over the course of the week, as you figure out the things you need to do, you get them done by the weekend. And then on Monday, you can focus on what needs to happen now. So if you're like me and you're a chronic list maker, but then you have the same stuff on your list week after week after week, day after day, because you're not getting it done, one thing is you might just want to break it down into smaller tasks. And 2 is try to spend some time over the weekend getting those chores done. Now, if you're saying to yourself, Kelly, I have a busy social life, my kids have games, I'm going out with friends, I'd like to go out dancing, then we have church and we this and this, I don't have time. That is a sign to me that you should be either spending more time during the week catching up or carving out a bit of time on the weekend. Because if you know you have a busy weekend and you only have 2 hours on Saturday, time constraints might help you push to get those things done. And I will say, sometimes the things on your to-do list do not need to be done by you. You can delegate, you can outsource, you can hire someone to come in and fix that thing. If I know it would take me 20 hours on YouTube to diagnose what's wrong with my dryer and I'm still terrified to fix it because it's an electrical wire issue, I am happy to delegate that to the people from the home appliance company who will come out and find the issue and have the part and fix it, and I write them a check. That's getting something off my to-do list that I don't have to physically do myself. So take a look at that list or the things that you thought you were going to get done before 2026 and you never did, and see what you can get done over the weekend so that you go into Monday feeling ready for all the new things that life is going to throw your way.